Hi there, Ken Larsen here from Smart House Electric. This video here, we're gonna go through how to connect our Tmax manager there, which will be the exact same process for a Tmax Manager Pro. How to connect that to a bunch of different timers here to give you an idea of how to set up your network in your tanning salon. So let's get right down to it. Initially, let's go through the wiring here. These connectors that you have on all these timers are called an RJ22. It's also the same as a handset cord. The wiring you see here that Tmax uses is also called a satin cable. It's a telephone line with four leads in it. And it's important, of course, that you always have the same position. Let's say here the black wire I always have on the right. That's what ADI does as well on their cable. If you had it reversed, make sure that everything in the salon is also reversed. The essence of this is that you have all the black wires in the entire network connected all together. All the red wires, every one of them connected on that same red wire. So all the reds are connected. And of course, black and red is not connected to each other in any way or form throughout the network. That will certainly risk for you to blow what's called your communication chips or make some kind of damage to the system. The actual network is being run on only two of the wires, and then there's a ground. So if you're really short on leads for whatever reason, you could get away with just connecting the red and the black and have communication. The ground wire you could live without. Have just in mind that it can create what's called a ground lift. That means that your voltage running on the network is excessively high because the ground has and now all of a sudden a power running through it because it's not being connected lead to ground. And so that can be, again, damaging to your system. The one thing I will say about that is that you can have some problems with ground faults in your network that you can get rid of by then removing the ground wire. Again, that can cause another problem. But you know, if you want to solve it or not, that's it's kind of a jerry rig to remove that ground wire, but sometimes it helps. Okay, well, let's connect some timers, and I know from the manual that you can auto address. And that works okay with what I'm going to show you these by connecting wall timers. But if you have any kind of IntelliTan timer or other proprietary timers inside of the tanning beds, I will really recommend not to use this feature. I'll say generally, just don't use auto addressing. It's something that can get very confusing and not work very well for you. But the best way is just to take one timer at the time. And here again, I'm just going to use my power supply for all of them. And so let's turn on some power here. So let's see, this is our room number 1. And it's important that you address these Tmax timers with no communication line hooked up. Actually, just for fun, Let's say that we don't have a room number one. The room number one is some kind of function in your salon that you want as room number one, but you don't want it on your timer system. Let's say it's teeth whitening, something else, but what you want to control with your Tmax manager. So your first room in this case is going to be room number two. And so address line number one, let's just go back out here. And again, to program it, we hold down the start button and the up key until we go to point one, like that. That's addressing, the very first one. You press start. This one is set for room number 4, we can see. Let's go down. We wanted to have it as room number 2. And we store it there. That up and down to get out. That was room number 2. Let's bring in another timer. And this way also you can get some practice by seeing it several times. That was 2, and let's make this guy here number 3. Again, same thing. This is a 3 WG2 wireless timer. Also works with wire just as well. It's just additionally it can do wireless. And so same way. This one was 5. Let's say that's 3. And again. And so forth. We just plow right through it here. And I got my power supply set up for 12 volt DC. That's something that these products works tremendously well on. And see, this one was beeping 8. That means that it is set for a master function, so they can control another timer. But again, you just hit the up key and the start button. It makes it go into programming mode. You can see that it was 0 for that mode. And let's go up. So room number 4. And here what's interesting to notice, or what's interesting, is that it doesn't matter where you wire the timer into on a network, what order your actual wires are being connected on all this. The timer gets stored with a digital address, and that's how it works. So it doesn't matter where in the system it is. So let's do this on this guy here. Let's put that to room number 7. That's it. So we got 2, 3, 4, and 7. And then, why not? Let's do one more here. So room number 10. So, let's do 8. Let's do 8. Oh, yeah. That's how easy that is. And now the wiring, of course, is going to be a whole lot longer. I made some very small patch cords here so that it wouldn't be a mess. And so we plug in our Tmax manager, and here what's cool is that it doesn't matter where you plug that in. We'll just take go from the back here. And the one thing though you want to make sure is that you don't have duplicates. No number 2. Oh, sorry, no, let's say 2 of number 3, because that will cause none of them to work. I have seen a rare occasion where one timer worked and it just didn't pick up the other one, but it did make some funny interference here and there. But just always make unique addresses. And let's put in some power and recycle, and thereby recycle our manager. See if we pick up all the stuff here. 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. It looks good so far. Here we go. And so, as you remember, you can set, we got it still in local mode. And you can, of course, also hook up your computer and run your software and set it through this guy. And so, bam, number 3 is started here. And so that's how you connect it, your network. Just as long as everything is connected, it doesn't matter how. The digital address is what determining what room number it is, because we didn't program any 5, 6, or 1, and so it doesn't show up. What's interesting to see here, like say, if we have 2 wireless timers, you could, instead of running a wire between them, if you didn't have that possibility, or if it's very hard, it was hard to do, you could hook up a wireless antenna on either one of them instead of that wire. And what I want to show with that also is that you can mix and match wireless and wired, and you can do it successfully up to a point. I had an experience where we were going up to about 22, 23 rooms, and there you have to make sure that that all the wireless machines are in one long consecutive row, meaning that let's say 1 through 8, what the Tmax manager is asking for out in the network is all wireless in those room numbers. And again, the actual wiring is less important, but the actual room numbers, it starts to become difficult for the manager to handle if they are run some are run wireless and some are run wired, and you're mixing it back and forth between it. Apparently there's some time domains that it has to be adhered to, but this is very complex, and the chances are that your salon is of that size is small, I realized, but I just want to bring it up. That's pretty much it. So just as long as you're connected all color for color for color, that you don't cross the wires, and there's many ways. I would say one thing is not to do what's called home runs, and that means that every one of these timers have a wire that goes back to this Tmax managers, and all of them are connected into one spot. Let's say all the black wires goes back to the same point and are and it's all connected together with a connector, and then going into the Tmax manager. The chance of nicking a wire and not being able to see that it's wrong at the front desk is very, very high. So it's not a good solution whatsoever. Will it communicate? It will. It will. I have seen some interference with it as well. Not sure if it's some kind of bottleneck with the digital addressing, but I really recommend not using that method. That's it for now. Thank you for watching, and please comment below and subscribe.